All right, everybody.
Yeah, baby.
Welcome to the jungle.
Welcome to the jungle, baby.
Yeah.
Got the Animal House Radio Show. It's Wednesday. It's that time of the week where 2 hours out of the week where you can relax and have some fun. We got a great show for you tonight, and I couldn't be more prouder of it. Myself, Paul, and Ed are here. Shay, Dave, and Gisela have the night off, but they will return next week.
Boo.
Yeah. Well, Gisela's not feeling well. Shay is stuck at work, and Dave is...
Gay.
Well, that's one way of looking at it, but he will be back next week. Ed, I have to commend you on your show today. Very good.
Dude, I had so much fun today with that show.
Your grandson is the best co-host you could possibly ask for.
He had me in stitches. I couldn't stop laughing at him.
Too bad he can't come every week, though, huh?
If it was up to me, I'd take him every week.
I know. Just kidnap him for a week, that's all. But we got a great show for you lined up tonight. Tonight we have two celebrities that are going to join us, and one a young lady who's going to be a celebrity because of her voice, and we'll be speaking to her shortly. Tonight, joining us on the Animal House Radio Show live is Ralph Macchio.
Yeah.
The Karate Kid himself is going to be in the house. Yeah, he's going to be waxing on and waxing off about the new YouTube Red series Cobra Kai, and it's really blowing up YouTube. It's got like hundreds of millions of views and watches. I binge watched it last night. I love it, so I definitely recommend everybody checking it out. And then joining us also tonight is the Sensei John Kreese from the Karate. So this is a Karate Kid reunion here tonight.
Yeah.
Martin Kove, who you remember from the Karate Kid, and he also played Detective Victor Isbecki on Cagney and Lacey.
I liked him in Rambo.
Yeah, Rambo.
Great in Rambo.
Let me tell you something. If you look at his resume, he goes back to Gunsmoke, and he's been on almost every TV show that you ever have known and loved. He's been on it at one point or another.
He plays a great bad guy, too.
He really makes you hate him.
Yeah, he's
such a good actor.
He is a good actor.
He's definitely the quintessential bad guy, I think.
Quintessential, that's from
Did you write that?
My Cousin Minnie's. My Cousin Minnie.
He's the quintessential Gambini.
Yeah.
But tonight's show is brought to you by Francesca's Italian Deli, 2119 Whitesville Road in Toms River. Give Ross a call, 732-363-5555. Chef Ross doing it again with these award-winning sandwiches, potato salad, macaroni salad. I don't think there's anything left already. We didn't even start the show practically.
we hit that before we even get to the show.
Yeah, right. I was hoping for some pound cake, but he said he didn't have any this week. So yeah, but no, he usually hooks us up. But definitely go and check him out. I'm telling you, if you got an event you want to cater to, you just want to go have a sandwich or something, go check out Ross and mention that you heard it here on Animal House Radio.
Yeah, I love his baked ziti. His baked ziti is great.
Oh too. Yeah, I like when he makes the raviolis with that it's not an Alfredo sauce, but it's like a vodka sauce. It had a different taste to it.
Yeah, it's in between. Yeah, it's in between. It's a pink sauce.
Gisela's not feeling well. She will be back next week, so fear not for all you Riddle fans out there. But at 8:40, we're going to be joined by Carolyn Benson, and she lives out in Long Island. She's a soccer mom, but she's got a phenomenal voice, and she's got something very special that she's working on that she just decided to do.
Sewing? She's sewing?
No, she made a song, and now she wants it. Well, I'll let her tell you about it.
Okay.
And she just decided to do it on the spur of the moment, and it's the debut of the song is going to be the 19th, but we're going to have it here. We had it here last week. We're going to debut it again this week. We got it first, being the fact that we're syndicated via Armed Forces Radio Network, and it's a song for our troops. So I think it's a ballad. We'll play it after we speak to her. Then, like I said, in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll have Martin Kove, and then at 9:30, Ralph Macchio. So stick around, guys. We've got plenty of show for you tonight.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, we mentioned it last week. We're going to have the first annual Animal House Radio Show Awards called the Beasties.
Yeah.
And thanks to Paul Veneer, who is a improvisational wizard. He came up with the categories, and we're all going to be voting on it. And are we going to get the listeners involved, Paul, or?
I don't think so.
No? All right.
User out.
User out.
Yeah.
That's like Ed when Gene asked him, Ed, you want to do a show? I'm in. Well, it's going to cost you a few dollars. And I'm out.
Only because I think it's better for us to judge from because we heard every single one.
Right, yeah.
The audience has not heard every single one, so it's not really fair.
That's true. I can't argue with you there.
Good. I don't like arguing.
Come on, arguing can be fun. How much fun is it when Carlo and Gisela start yelling at one another?
Oh, that's the best. I have entertainment on the way and back from the show every week.
Yeah.
It's like a whole movie. I get to watch a whole show on the way here and back.
Oh,
it's great. It only takes me, I usually instigate. I'll say, why are you doing this? And boom, there's a fight that starts out between the two of them. It's great.
Is there anything better than instigating a fight and then watching it unfold and then sitting back?
I love it. I'm Froggy. I'm Froggy from Pop Your Magic Froggy Froggy. I just say something and sit back and watch it. I instigate.
Yeah, well, that's definitely your strong suit, instigating.
I mean, at my show sometimes I have the audience start picking on each other. It's like, good, my job is done.
Yeah, they turn on each other like rabid dogs.
They do. They turn on their friends and throw them under the bus.
I tell you, I just seen him pummel people, and they just keep this.
Oh, here we got a call.
I got our first caller?
Yes.
First caller.
Bring him up. Hi, Carolyn.
Hey.
Hi, all right.
How are you?
How you doing? All right, everybody. It is 20 to 9. Joining us now on the phone is a Long Island mom who has a beautiful voice, and she's got a great song. It's going to be coming out on the 19th, but we're going to debut it. We debuted it last week. We're going to do it again this week. Yeah. It's called Forever in My Heart. Please welcome for the first time, Carolyn Benson.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks, guys, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no problem.
And, before we start, I just want to give a shout out to all our armed forces serving, worldwide and at home, and to their families for all their sacrifices. And we really appreciate it back home here, and we keep them in our prayers.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
That's for sure.
So, Carolyn, how did the whole thing? Were you you've been singing for a while? Is this something that you just decided to do on your own, or spur of the moment?
Well, what happened was I'll yada through a lot of this. Back when I got married in '96, I went to school for music theater, and back in the day, I grew up in Dix Hills, and I came home, and I didn't really have the soul to suffer from my art. So I went to work found a job on Route 110, and fell into regular life, and I just sort of left the singing side to the wayside, and I met my husband, and we got married, and we had 2 beautiful children. And then I think probably around like 2002, 2003, just to get out of the house a little bit, my husband suggested I, pick up singing again. And I was like, gosh, I'm hitting the age.
So he told you to get out of the house. He told you to get out of the house.
He really had his foot on my behind.
He told you he wanted you to talk more during sex, so you called him from a motel, right? Is that what happened?
Oh, well, we don't want to bring the Comac motor into any of this. Right?
There you go. 11725.
That's cool. They got the theme rooms there. I like those.
Comac 11725.
We're not going to go down that road.
Dix Hills 11746 and 47.
Oh, that's right.
Well, Paul's from Long Island.
I'm from Levittown originally. I'm from Levittown.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Okay, Levitt houses.
Yeah. I was in the middle
of
them. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was really the beginning of our vets coming home. That's when Levitt built all those homes. And actually, I have a Linda Ronstadt tribute band as well. Mm-hmm. So I'll yada quick. A couple of years ago, I started singing again, and just to get my chops wet, I started singing down at a couple of restaurants here on the North Shore, and I loved it. It was just a great way to get out, and people would laugh at me. I had my little backing tracks, found those. I put together a makeshift sound system. I really didn't know what I was doing or why I was doing it, and I started singing that way. And then I realized after a few years I wanted more, but I really am a theater girl, and I love theater. Right. And I did a few local shows with like CM Performing Arts over in Oakdale, who's an amazing community theater. But really with kids, I couldn't spend that time. But I was going into the city trying to audition sort of under everybody's nose to get into the Anchorman Theater, because I knew they had non-union parts, and I wound up getting a role. about 6 years ago, I think it is, or 5 years ago now, for It's a Wonderful Life. And the first day of rehearsals, I went in there, and they handed me the script, and they handed me an understudy part, and it was a lead. I would have had my union card and everything, because that's what I really went to school for, was music theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at the script, and I had 2 young kids at home, and it's like 50 shows. So they took a break from this very first day of rehearsal now. So I walk outside, and I'm in front of the Ed Sullivan Theater, and I take my phone out, and I call my mother. Started crying, and I said, I can't do this. This is just not the time in my life now. That has passed, which is fine. And but I knew I had to go back in and hand the director my script and everything, and just say, okay, this is not my path right now.
Right.
So what I did was I cried walking back to Long Island Railroad a little bit, and I came home and I picked myself up, and looked at my family and knew how lucky I was, but I said, there's a way that I got to incorporate all this. So when I was out singing, I look at people when I'm singing, and I go, oh my gosh, they really love this song or that song. You're No Good comes on from Linda Ronstadt, Hurt So Bad.
Right.
Everybody responds to that. So I started a Linda Ronstadt tribute band a few years ago. And honestly, I had no business starting a band because I never had a band before.
Right.
And I begged and borrowed some musicians, amazing guys that came in and helped me start this up. And it's been great, and it's been a learning experience. And it's about also what am I going to do with my part 2 in life? So a lot of women that are home raising families, there comes a point those kids grow up and they leave the home, and you have to go, what am I going to do now? Yeah. I've left the world. I was the CEO of my house, and when I left the working world, I was in marketing, and a lot of that business has now moved on, and I lost the technology and all that knowledge. So I was really sort of in a quandary. So when I started this Linda Ronstadt tribute band, I was hoping that, I'm going to start this band and I'm going to be performing. And being in a band is probably, I don't want to compare it to, military or anything else, but for me, it was hard because I had to now take 5 people and try and deal with the personalities and who can make what gig and schedule that gig. And I boxed out of this venue, and it was a real learning experience for me. So I got some really great gigs. I just played down in Mississippi at a wonderful casino, and I've played at Foxwoods, but it's start and stop. And I was under Ronstadt's name, and I said, as much as I love her, I want to get away from the fear and say I can stand on my own 2 feet under Carolyn Benson. And I wound up meeting a producer last year by the name of Gray Devio, who's a wonderful musician, a violinist, and can play any instrument. And we started working together. And my goal was just to create a 5-song EPK that I can send out. And this is Carolyn Benson, and I just want to perform. I want to sing. This is what I want to do. Right. And so in the process of that, Gray had some songs. We were going to do a couple original. And I started looking at the songs he wrote, and one of them was Forever in My Heart. Mm-hmm. And I just loved it. And as soon as I heard it, it just spoke to me so much about, to me, military. It could be about anybody. It could be about the love of your life or, growing old together or your children. It has many meanings, but for me, starting this career is all about finding what I can do to work and support a family, but how can I also be of service?
Right.
And I think as you get older, you have to figure out how are you helping out, and what are you giving back into the world.
Right.
And the first thing was the military. So this song's coming out May 19th. It's dedicated to the military. We are asking that you go to my website, carolynbenson.us. You can purchase the song. Portion of the proceeds is going to go to the Gary Sinise Foundation.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yes, I'm actually familiar with that foundation because we've had on the show we've had on Joe Mantegna and him and Gary every year they do the Memorial Day concert, and that's actually coming up at the end of the month.
Right.
And they've been doing it for the last 15 years, so it's a very, very worthwhile thing. And Carolyn, I got to tell you, just from sitting around and saying, how can I be productive? Not many people do that nowadays, so that's really awesome of you to do something like that, and especially, tailor making it for the military, because it seems that they get forgotten quite often.
Well, and being like, living on Long Island, I have a different perspective of a lot what goes on as far as like even after 9/11, the area I live in, we lost a few people.
Right.
I see those wives walking in the supermarket, and I know what happened to their husband, and I know what they left behind, and I know those who went off to fight right after 9/11, and we just lost Lieutenant Ragusa, I believe, he was from Comac. That's my, that's where I grew up.
Right.
These families are left behind, and I think as a woman, as a mother, as somebody that knows that there's so much pain that goes with this sacrifice, and that we as a country are sometimes forgetting them.
Yeah.
And with all the disparity that goes on between either party, and this isn't about, and it's not about party. That's the beauty about music.
Right.
Music is something that we can all agree on. Well, except a few Led Zeppelin songs I don't like, but I love Led Zeppelin. But you know what I mean? But we can all listen to a song and we go, okay, there's parts of that song I like, or parts, my children fight all the time about different music. Mm-hmm. But I think music is a common thread. It's a common ground. And if we can just say, okay, listen, for a moment, can we just all come together and support these people that go off, put their uniforms on and support us for our freedoms, and just remember them, because a lot of them are forgotten when they come home. Mm-hmm. And listen, my father was a Marine, still is a Marine. He was in his mind, he's still a Marine. He loves this country. He taught us to love this country. Mm-hmm. And it's not perfect, but it's our country. Right. And we have this 1%, I think it's about 1%, that goes off and protects our freedoms, these wonderful freedoms that I think we're taken for granted. Mm-hmm. And when I look at all the charities, the good charities out there, when I was trying to pick a charity, I go, wow, look at all these charities for these poor people. Why do we need so many? Why isn't the VA really taken care of? Why do we have to do all this? Why aren't they taken care of like one of the first?
Well, that's a story in itself.
Yeah.
It's a long story in itself.
And I'm not well versed. And honestly, I'm not well versed. These are like my opinions, just my feelings. Right. So I just felt, and Gray Devio, who wrote the song, when he wrote the song like a year ago before we even met, he was in Nashville when he wrote this song. He felt that he being on the road, and Jack Ruby was the co-lyricist, they're on the road and they're trying to, they almost feel like they're at war with music, when they're trying to sell their songs and their music, and they wrote this song with the military in mind.
Right.
So when I heard it and I said, this is like about the military, Greg goes, that's exactly who it was meant for.
Right.
So I felt that it's just, I'm really a nobody, I'm coming from a place of, in my little town, I do what I can and I perform, but if I can just help a little bit and give back a little bit, maybe that will help and make a difference, and then my children will want to do the same.
Well, that's what you're doing is amazing. Now, what you were telling me something about that you want pictures and to make a video?
Right, and so what we're asking is, on May 19th, if you go to carolynbenson.us, there's going to be my email address, contact at, I think it's carolynbensonofficial.com. And we're asking current military, past, the veterans, and their families to submit pictures, because we're going to create a music video that we're trying to release on July 4th to go with the song.
Well, I think anything we can do, and I'm going to get a friend of mine, Colonel Vici, involved. He runs an organization called Vet Rest, and if anybody can help you out, it's Colonel Vici. Yep. He's got a lot of the tremendous work he does with our veterans for the PTSD. So I definitely think that's a start in the right direction. And anything we could do here, Carolyn, if you want to, we'll put out feelers to anybody that wants to send in us pictures. Anything to do to help you make this video, you can count us in.
Well, thanks so much. I really appreciate even the time to be on here. And, you know, my goal going forward is we have so many U.S. military bases right here in the United States and worldwide. You know, I'm putting a show together that I can go out and perform at the military bases.
Right.
And in other theaters and such. But I just feel, for me, this is what I want to do, and to give back. And you know, I love even doing the national anthem for things. I think it's an honor to be able to sing that song.
Oh, absolutely.
Even though
it's amazing, it's amazing you can reach all the notes.
Well, it's a very tricky thing to start at the right note.
Yeah, you got to start the low notes, right?
You got to go really low in your voice, because when you realize that you started a bit too high, you're going in your head.
Yeah, they sound like alfalfa then. Yeah.
Carolyn, where can they go to if they want to buy the record or the single or download it? Or
so on Saturday, which is Armed Forces Day, May 19th.
Right.
It's www.carolynbenson.us. And there'll be a link right on my website, and they can go and purchase the song, and they can, the portion of the proceeds will go to the Gary Sinise Foundation. So
awesome.
It's pretty simple. And then again, if they want to send pictures in, and if you know, I've looked online at pictures like people deploying, coming home. I love those pictures. You know, the children waiting for their parents. I think it's so beautiful. So anything they want to send in, and I hope I can use them all. But if not, they'll be put to good use in another way.
Well, that's great. And like I said, you have an open door anytime you want to come on. I got to jump for the news, but we're gonna,
no problem.
We are gonna play the song tonight. I guarantee you. I don't care if Facebook kicks us off. But Carolyn, Ben, give her a round of applause, please.
Yeah. Thank you guys so very much. And tell Ralph Macchio, huge fan.
Okay, you got it, Carolyn. That was Carolyn Benson.
Thank you, Carolyn.
I hope.
You're welcome.
I hope we can help her out, though. I really.
Yeah, definitely turn on to Robert Beach.
Yeah. No, I'm going to call Rob.
Yeah, because he has loads of
Rob's
pictures.
Yeah. So we're. Cool. Yeah, that was good, and I listened to the song. It's a ballad type of song, so we'll play it towards the end of the show because I want to keep the momentum going. But it is a very touching song, and I know everybody will like it. But joining us in a few minutes is Martin Kove. He's a phenomenal actor who you've seen on so many different TV shows, and going back as far as Gunsmoke to still working hard today. He's got over 200 credits on IMDb. If you look at it, it's amazing what he's done. And I mean, he's had the most notable role, obviously, is the Sensei John Kreese from the Karate Kid movies. He was actually in the first three, Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3, and he was Detective Victor Isbecki from Cagney and Lacey. He'll be joining us momentarily, hopefully. So, and that's it. And then, like I said, we have the categories for the Beasties, which is our first annual Animal House Radio Show Awards, and we have some categories. We're going to do some voting, and we're going to let you know who the nominees are, and then eventually who the winners are. And everybody's going to get the winners will receive a trophy. Yep. That Gisela actually found them.
The losers will pay for it.
So if I had an issue happen to me over the week, and if anybody's listening, no matter what country you're in,
was it Mavis?
No, it wasn't Mavis, thank God. I wish it was something as simple as that. No matter if you're in the U.S. or you're listening to us overseas, I need somebody who's a specialist in data recovery. All the external hard drive that I keep on my laptop, because in case my computer crashes, I have everything stored there. But and I tried to do that online backups, and it's just too cool. It's like $60 a month. And I just can't swing that. So if anybody is a computer specialist and you listen to the show and you're in I don't care what country you're in, if you can help me extract the data off of my hard drive, we will offer you advertisement. If you want to do something in trade, I need to get that off there because the last 3 years of our show are on that hard drive, and I'm totally devastated over this if I've lost all that stuff. It'll really... I mean, all our great interviews, all our station IDs, all the photos, all the photos of Gisela and the kids, and everything's on there, and it's like being erased. And
my news stories, my God.
Yeah, right. Everything we've done for the past 2 years, it'll be like like the plague. And so, if anybody can help, or if you can refer to me, you can refer me to somebody that can help. Please, please, please do so. But that's it. I mean.
Yeah.
So anyway, what was I going to say? Oh,
I don't know.
Saturday is Armed Forces Day, National Armed Forces Day. So please, if you're out Saturday, thank a vet. This Saturday, actually,
shoot a Nazi.
We're going to be out at the NJPAC. They're doing a screening. Yes, bring him up. Hello, Mr. Cove.
Hey, no. How you doing? I'm calling for Carlo. I want to say hi to Carlo and give everybody on the show a shout out.
Who's this?
This is Jack. I want to give everybody on the Animal House Radio Show a shout out. I love you guys, and I just calling to say what's up.
Hey, thanks, Jack. Jack, I gotta let you run. I'm waiting for a guy to call in, but I love you, brother.
You got it, brother. God bless, man.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Yes, Jack Jambanko,
right,
Friendship Lights. You got to check out his Friendship Lights. They are the best.
Much love going out.
Thanks, Jack. Yes, Danielle, I know I can buy one, but the problem is I can't get the data off of the one that's not working to get the new one. That's not a problem of buying one. It's distracting the data because every time I try to do something, it's either the... I hope I didn't wipe everything out. I apologize to Jack Jambanko, but we got to keep a tight schedule today. Jack Jambanko, let me just tell you about this guy. This guy's a genius. He came up with this idea for Friendship Lights that brings everybody together, all types of people, and he's so creative, and he's always offering to help us out. So I apologize if
mine's still lit.
Yeah, I mean, and
yeah, it really is.
You know who really liked his Friendship Lights? Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah.
When we went to the show, he took like the whole box of them. Jack was trying to give them out to everybody, and he.
Gilbert was selling them at the end of the show.
Selling them. He's like, "Do you mind if I have these?" And Jack's like, "What is he going to say? No to Gilbert Gottfried?" But he's an incredible guy. He's always giving out lights to people, and he's bringing people together. So that's really something to be said about that. But I apologize that I had to rush him off because I got to keep these lines open. But Jack is a staunch support. Staunch, write that down.
Staunch.
Staunch is a staunch.
But he's skinny. He's not staunch.
Yeah. Jack is a very big supporter of the show, and we love him to death. And we actually met him through Dominique Monroe, and really good guy. So if you need something like that, Friendship Lights, for some kind of event or an organization, you call Jack, and he'll make them for you. He makes them right in his house, and he takes the time. They're not cheaply made. They're nice quality.
Like I said, mine is still lit. It's been over a year. It's still lit.
Yeah, and so like I said, definitely check him out. But yeah. So with this, Monday. I go to sit down on my computer. I go to start putting a show together, because usually I do a Monday night. It usually takes me all night Monday night, usually one day. It used to take me 3 and 4 days. I said, I ain't doing this. I'm going to do it all in one day. So I sit down, and the hard drive was working, then all of a sudden it failed. And, I was like, oh, man. This happened last year, too. I almost lost all my data.
1 in 5.
What?
Statistics say 1 in 5 hard drives are going to fail.
Well, they all do eventually.
It's a very.
Am I the only one to watch the Avengers?
9 out of 10 doctors.
Yeah.
1 in 5.
4 out of 5 dentist survey.
I found out 9 out of 10 doctors agree that 1 out of 10 doctors is an asshole.
This usually works. 1 in 5.
Here we go. Call.
Hello, Mr. Cove.
Hey, it's Marty Cove here.
Hey, all right, everybody.
Hey.
It's 9 o'clock. Joining us now on the phone is a phenomenal actor who you've known and loved on the TV and movies for many, many years. He's taken a few minutes out of his busy schedule to be with us here tonight. Please welcome for the first time on the Animal House Radio Show, Mr. Martin Cove.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, guys. Good.
Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, we're doing real good. Thank you so much for taking the time. I can't tell you how excited we are to have you on, and how we're really big fans of yours, and it's exciting for us to be speaking with you tonight.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
And the troops appreciate it, too.
Oh, yeah. That's more than anything. Right now, the show is syndicated on Armed Forces Radio, so all the military personnel around the world that are stationed at the bases, they're listening to you tonight. So in some small way, we're entertaining the troops tonight.
That's great. Well, I'm happy to do it. It's my pleasure to, serve those who are serving me, man. you know, it's real. I mean, God knows how many of these characters that I played who are, you know, in the armed forces, and you know, it's a tough game, and I'm proud to be able to make this call and talk to everybody.
You know,
thank you, sir.
Well, it's an honor for us to have you. And you know what? Looking at your body of work, I mean, you go back as far as Gunsmoke, and you've been on every TV show that we could have known and loved over the years at one time or another. Phenomenal movies, and you're still going strong. And now that with this new series on YouTube, Red Cobra Kai, you're reprising the role of Sensei John Kreese. Is the guy you love to hate. And I got to say something. Mr. Cove, is it okay if I call you Marty?
Yeah, Marty's fine, sure.
Sure. Marty, I tell you, you are in all the movies, though, you are the quintessential bad guy, though.
Yeah,
you're the guy that everybody loves to hate, though.
You play a great bad guy, you really do. Okay.
Did we lose it?
You broke up for a second. Go ahead.
I'm saying in all the movies that you did, you played the quintessential bad guy, the one that everybody loves to hate.
Oh, thank you.
Which is a testament. It was a testament to your acting. I mean, it really is.
Oh, thanks. No one knows that I cry at supermarket openings. No one knows that.
Well, that is sad.
So, Marty, how did it start for you? What made you want to? What made you say, "Hey, this is what I want to do. I want to be an actor"?
I was in the 4th grade, and I'm from Brooklyn, you know, and I remember doing a play called The Golden Goose in 4th grade at, I think it was PS 161 in Brooklyn on Crown Street. And I just remember just having such a good time. And I remember writing a play myself, a silly play about a wagon train. And I loved Westerns, because I'm real big on Westerns. I mean, I'd love to rejuvenate, you know, the West and have all these kids today learn about the Old West, because movies like The Wild Bunch and Searchers and, you know, just a whole bunch of great films out there, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, you know, and make them anymore. So, you know, but in those days I wrote this poem about this play about a wagon train.
Right.
And I just got hooked on just, you know, acting, and I don't think I really did anything about it until I was about 20. You know, I was in class and, you know, did plays at community centers and in high school and college, but I don't think professionally. One day I just picked myself up and I got a part in a movie called Little Murders, speaking role at Alan Arkin directing. Yeah. And then it was cut out. And I'm killing Elliot Gould with a camera in Central Park. And then I find he writes a letter. He said, we had to cut your scene out because, you know, Elliot Gould playing a pacifist, and we can't have him killing you in the movie. Right. So it was lovely. And Alan Arkin and I, whenever we bump into each other, you know, we laugh about that because, you know, it's just, he was a wonderful director, the first guy to give me a speaking role. I think it was 1970 in New York.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, and then you just progress from there.
You caught the bug.
Yeah, you know, it's a good bug. You know, the business is rough, but acting is great. And I've directed Silk Stockings and a lot of radio shows, and mostly westerns in the radio show. I just like doing it, you know. Yep. And you know, it's just my passion. And being part of this Cobra Kai, the material is great. It's all in the writing.
Yeah,
you know,
it really
like
is.
You know, Karate Kid was all in the writing. The star of that movie was not Ralph or Miyagi.
Right.
The star of that movie was a guy named Robert Kamen, who wrote Wax On, Wax Off, No Mercy, Sweep the Leg.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Without those words, we wouldn't be, you know, carrying on for, you know, 34 years later.
Yeah, those words became a part of pop culture history, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Marty, let me ask you, with a movie like The Karate Kid, obviously with the talented cast and the chemistry, what made America fall in love with that movie? Was it just the timing of the decade, or
the underdog? The underdog.
Well, you know, we kind of make a little consensus of what people enjoy most when we do an autograph show, and it's always the same thing. The three elements of that movie breathe clear. If someone in 1984 was either bullied, and they remember what happened to them and how they resolved it, or how they didn't resolve it, or they had a romance that didn't work, or that really worked back then,
right.
or they were a fish out of water, that they were moving around. And like in the military, people have parents who move a lot,
right.
salespeople who move a lot. They were a fish out of water in a variety of places. So those three elements, emotionally, I think everyone identifies with, and mostly the bullying, I think, anyway.
Yeah.
And then I think, there are kids. This new series is written so well that the younger generation who might have seen the movie on DVD,
right,
or if they took them somewhere to see it on the big screen, which is rare, they truly identify with this TV series, which is why it's breaking all the records, because of how well the kids are written, how well the students of Johnny Lawrence are written.
Right.
Which is in a sense the same reason why fighters and physical people identify with Johnny Lawrence, because he lost.
Right.
He lost, but the people who were great athletes or good athletes or karate students, they couldn't believe that he lost. But then again, Ralph used an illegal kick. So, the crane kick was, Billy Zabka, my friend Billy, Johnny Lawrence, is the Karate Kid because he lost in the tournament to an illegal kick. So
wow.
I have kept that for 30 years alive, that the wrong guy won that tournament in 1984.
Right.
Oh, wow. You know what's funny, Marty? I grew up in the 80s. That was my decade, and I remember watching that movie when it first came out and falling in love with it. And, I remember bullying back then, but not to the extent that everybody seems to think so. I think now with the Cobra Kai series that bullying is more prevalent now than it ever was, and the whole subject matter is even more relevant than it was back then, because bullying seems, I don't know, over the past couple of years or 5 years, it seems to have gotten more widespread. So, and like you said, the younger generation, that was written to include them in that. And I think that's very important, that sometimes you miss a beat like that. Now you bring the core fans in that love the movie from the beginning, and now you're encompassing a whole new generation of viewers.
Right.
Yeah, and honestly, these are the statistics. We have viewership now. It's at 25 million. We had 20 million people when the show was on for a week.
Right.
It's unheard of. We have beaten Handmaiden. We've beaten, Walking Dead. Strange Things.
Mm-hmm.
Every network, Netflix. We've made history. We had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes on that venue of review. We had 24 reviews and 24 positive reviews of the 24.
Yep.
So, it's kind of crazy, and it's all due to the arcs of all these characters, and primarily the kids, because Ralph is Ralph.
Right.
I come in at the end to tickle everybody and set up season 2, and Billy is Billy, struggling for redemption.
Right.
But the arc of all the other characters is so rich, beginning, middle, and an end, of each character so far in those 10 episodes. Just drew in all those kids and all those adults that wanted to know what you do when your kid's bullied, what you do when your kid is a bully. It made everybody identify with something that you and I grew up and, we gathered around the TV and we watched Ed Sullivan, or we watched something all together, Combat, or any of those shows all together. Family doesn't exist anymore because kids are busy with their phones.
Right.
Now that show can gather everybody around the TV, and it's great for everyone.
Yeah.
It's multi-generational, definitely.
You know what? It's so simplistic, Marty, because you really don't have to embellish, because it's just, the way they wrote it, that you don't really have to get crazy with it, because all these situations are real life, and they just put them on paper and put it on the screen, because there's kids that are going to identify with it, say, hey, this is what's going on in my school.
Exactly. Yeah. I go around the country with a woman named Sue Ellen Freed, who's written several books on anti-bullying. And we went to different cities. I went to St. Louis, Cincinnati, and one school in Beverly Hills, and one of my kids were in attendance. And the bottom line is that like you say, it wasn't so pronounced then. Now, like everything else that's in the world, it's all communicated so fast. based on technology, based on TV, based on how quick, CNN gets it out there. You watch the Gulf War while it was happening in 1992.
Yep.
So now cyberbullying is so big, and that's what's getting to the kids. Yeah. But I technically feel, and I could never advise children to do this in school because both the bully and the target would end up in detention. But we've been bullied. We've had bullying in society since the days of Greece, since the days of Rome, since Attila the Hun tried to, just take over the world.
Yep.
I mean, Napoleon.
Yep.
There have always been, and certainly with World War II.
Right.
But there have always been those situations, and they do stop. They've all been beaten down. All those world conquerors were beaten down and lost ultimately. You know, and whether it was if it was the Battle of the Bulge or whether it was in Waterloo or wherever, it does God does take care of us in that respect.
Yep.
And but it takes a long time. That's why I salute all the armed forces. Because if I was able to go and I wasn't too old, I'm playing a character who's 67 in a movie about Gettysburg, and I'm doing it in June.
Right.
And the guy is 67, and he fought in the War of 1812. They wouldn't let him fight in the war in 1836 against Mexico. So he sneaks into the battalion called the Iron Battalion in 1863 and fights in Gettysburg.
Wow.
And he's 67 years old, and his name is John Burns, and it's a real-life guy.
Right.
Oh, wow. It's a true story. Okay. Oh, wow.
And back 67
real
back
life
then.
guy.
And 67 back then is really old.
Yeah, right?
Back then, yeah.
Generals were 30 years old in the Civil War.
Right, exactly.
So the kids were 15 fighting. But what I'm trying to say is, I try to do as many patriotic things as I can do that move me into somehow covering an area that we have no control of, which is bullying, which is, aggressive countries, people doing things, maybe one of the episodes in Cobra Kai is about God shooting, somebody's being aggressive and shooting in a school, and how would the characters in Cobra Kai handle that?
Right. Right.
It's just, all these things are so current and so real.
Yeah. It really is. It really is. And it's amazing how, and if you can bring them to light and help the situation by addressing it and making people realize, hey, this isn't what you guys should be doing. This is a problem, and we need to get a jump on it. That's even better.
Yeah, and we can because this is a family event, Cobra Kai. Right. YouTube has done brilliant things to get it out there. They've made this their house of cards that Netflix had, and everybody is excited about this. And it's quality stuff, and these three writers are brilliant, and they managed to extract best elements out of the movie and put them in this series 30 years later.
Right.
Never happened before.
No, it really doesn't. I'm a big believer in, like, when you have a movie and it went well, leave it alone. But people were looking for this, and I don't think it could have went any other. It couldn't have went better any other way. You know how sometimes they do a remake of a movie, or they'll do a part 2 or a part 3, and it's like, you know what, leave it alone. You're gonna ruin the franchise. But this is a crown jewel, and
No, it gets down It gets down to the basic emotion that people all feel, want, and have to believe that good always triumphs over evil. And it's basically that's the root of it. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when I signed on and met these guys, and they said, you're going to come in episode 10, and I wanted earlier, and they said, no, you're going to set up season 2. And the world has gone upside down that I've shown up because they thought I was dead.
Right.
And I was telling people, well, I'm in prison, I'm working for the CIA, I'm working for the KGB, God knows, I fall in love and I live in Des Moines. I have all these stories. I had to make up from September to May 2nd because all my press was embargoed until May 2nd.
Right.
So the interesting thing is, you can take this character, and we know, like in westerns, when the bad guy turns good,
right?
It's always interesting.
Yeah.
It's always great when the guy turns good.
Definitely.
And you know, and that's what Kreese is. He might. I said to him, "Are you going to play this guy dark, or are you going to play him, you know, a little vulnerable?"
Right.
And they said to me, "He's going to be a little good, and he's going to be a little bad." So I'm as ignorant as you are here. We're going to see what happens, you know.
Hey, Marty, I'm a little confused about Johnny Lawrence now. It seems like he wants to do it seems like there's like a role reversal here, whereas now he's Miyagi and the kid that he's mentoring he wants to help, but he still reverts back to his old nasty self. So I'm very conflicted about him. I want to like him, and it seems like he helped the kid when the kid got jumped by the other kids. But then it seems like, you know, hey, I don't want to be bothered here.
Well, that's where they're kind of leaving you hanging. Yeah. They're not really sure where you're going yet. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Well, you know, he's a conflicted character. He's got a lot of baggage.
Right.
And you know, I was the father figure. And then, you know, I almost killed him in the parking lot in the second one.
Right.
And, you know, strangled him and broke his trophy. And so he's quite disillusioned. And he's been living with that for 30 years. And so he's fighting for redemption of himself. And he's an alcoholic. And so he's trying to, you know, fall in. I mean, he teaches kids that Kreese employs these kids, you know.
Right.
You know, Kreese was much more superficial and in an Aryan level of training.
Right.
And Kreese was that way because Kreese was, you know, John Kreese, my whole backstory that I created was that he was a great champion in junior high, high school, college, went to the Marines, was a great champion in karate in the Marines, and then went off to war in Vietnam and wasn't allowed to win like so many of our soldiers were not allowed to show their prowess because of politics, because of a place we never should have been, you know, according to the world, and it was still as patriotic as Kreese, but Kreese was as patriotic as anybody else who fought in the war. But the bottom line is, when he got back, he swore that he would never taste defeat through his students, and his students would have to be triumphant at any circumstance.
Right.
And that's why he was somewhat the militarist in the dojo.
And just to go off topic for a second, Marty, everybody knows a guy from Brooklyn can't live in Des Moines, Iowa. There's no pizza. There's no pizza there.
Oh, please don't get me started on that. Marty, let me ask you: between John Kreese and Victor Uzbeki, which character did you like better?
Well, honest to God, Victor Uzbeki had more dimension because he liked. The only reason that Uzbeki became a cop in the 14th precinct is because he wanted to be a marshal in the Old West. So
there you go.
Being a cop in the 14th precinct was the closest thing he could do to, you know, because my research was down in San Bernardino with these, you know, my friend Bubba Williams, and he had carried a Winchester in his locker, a lever-action Winchester, and John Wayne pictures on his desk.
Right.
And he'd walk up to women and play the chauvinist and pop these female cops on the chest and says, "How you doing, baby?" He was truly the chauvinist.
Right.
I've always felt a woman could do anything a man could do. That was how I felt going in that show.
Right.
But my character was so macho and, you know, but he loved his parents. He loved women. He loved action. Mm-hmm. Every time they wrote an action scene and we'd read it in rehearsal, by the time we got to do it, you know, Cagney and Lacey, both girls weren't great at doing action.
Right.
So I was sitting with the perp in the back seat, and we just hear about the action. We never saw it anymore, you know? Because the show was about them. You know, it wasn't called Cagney, Lacey, and Uzbeki, you know?
It should have been.
But that was a good show, and we all had a love affair together. No fragile egos, and you know, you do that show for 6 years, and you know, John Kreese is a little more rigid emotionally, but hoping in this series they take him to places because they write so well, and it's, you know, a group of 3 writers, and they write so well. You know, Josh Shield and and Brandon and John, they write so well,
yes.
so that they could round off this character and take him places that you never thought he could go.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it's a phenomenal series, and I hope it sticks around. And I know you're busy because you're doing a lot of press, but Marty, you have an open door. Anytime you want to come on, anything you want to promote, you're a friend of the show. You can come on anytime you want. And
you guys are great.
Yeah.
And to all our other wonderful servicemen out there, I wish you the best. Stay healthy, and when you guys get a chance, watch the show. It's rejuvenating.
Yep.
And just remember, sweep the leg and no mercy on our enemy.
Yeah. And I say one more thing. I was going to say, I'm with you. I hope you do bring back Westerns, because I have fond memories of sitting on the couch with my father and watching Cheyenne and Maverick and Bronco, all those shows, and Rifleman. I used to love watching those shows. I wish they'd bring back that format.
There was that period of time in the 60s when 35 Westerns were on network primetime.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
All the stuff you're talking about, the Rifleman, Sugarfoot, Maverick, and I mean, we used to go to Oakland Raider games all the time, James Garner and myself, because, we just liked the team and we knew the doctor. But the bottom line was that was a period of time, Colt 45, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I remember shows also like Combat. I loved Combat.
I love Combat. Cage, I remember Cage.
Yeah. Hey, Marty, but before you go, would you do us a favor?
What do you need?
Could you do a station ID for us here?
Say that again?
Would you do a station ID for us before you go?
Oh, of course.
You're going to introduce yourself and say you're listening to the Animal House Radio Show on the Hamilton Radio Network.
The Animal House Radio Show on the Hamilton Network.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, you got it. Hello, I'm Martin Cove, and you're listening to the Animal House Radio Show on Hamilton Network.
Yeah.
Remember.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Martin, thank you so much. God bless you, and many more seasons of Cobra Kai on YouTube Red. If you guys haven't subscribed to I don't know what you're waiting for. They give you the first 2 episodes, and I guarantee you're going to want to see the other 8.
Yep.
It's a great network. Great network to subscribe to, and they've got a lot of good stuff coming. But Cobra Kai, to watch Cobra Kai once a week, you learn so much about humanity and kids. It's the best.
Yeah,
I had to watch all 7 seasons, and I couldn't stop watching all 7 episodes, and I couldn't stop. I fell asleep,
and I loved you in Rambo too.
Thank you very much. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I bet.
All right, guys. Take care of yourselves.
Thank you.
Great talking to you.
Thank you,
sir.
Martin Cove, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We should be hearing from Ralph Macchio any minute now. I hope you enjoyed that. Audio was, I guess he must have been on his cell phone, but that's okay. But we'll see you guys in a few minutes.
All right.
Yeah, that was good. I like that. That was real good.
Yeah.
I hope he's not on his cell phone. Hello.
Hello.
How you doing? Is this Vincent?
Yeah, this is Carlo. How are you?
Oh, Carlo. Hi, this is Steven on behalf of Ralph Macchio. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Steven, how are you? I just want to say thank you very much for this opportunity. We're all very excited here.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you guys are such a big fan of the show. He's really looking forward to doing this.
Absolutely, and I got to tell you, Steven, we sent out we did promos today for the interview, and our servicemen and women are going nuts over this, waiting for this.
Oh, really? All right, great. I'm so excited we could do this for you then.
I appreciate it.
I'll get him on. Yeah, I'll get him on right now. So he'll be speaking with you, right, Carlo?
Yes.
All the three of us.
Yeah, there's three of us here, but I'm the host. I have two co-hosts. Yes.
Yep.
Oh, great. What are your guys' names?
It's Carlo, Paul, and Ed.
Paul and Ed. Got it. All right, I'll give him a heads up. Let me get him on the line in like 1 minute for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, great. Thanks, guys.
Somewhere beyond the sea.
Editing. Yeah, right.
Somewhere beyond the sea.
You got your guitar today, Paul.
I didn't bring it. I thought we had enough interviews going on. Does that work?
Oh, okay, guys. I have Ralph on the line for you.
Hello. Okay.
Hey guys,
Hello, Mr. Macchio. How are you, sir?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I can't tell you what it means to be talking to you, growing up, watching you on TV. It's an honor, and I can't thank you enough. I know you're a tremendously busy guy, but I can't thank you from the bottom of my heart for us here on the show and all the servicemen and women around the world who are listening to you right now.
That's great. Listen, this is the easiest decision on the day. This is the easiest thing to do all day. So I appreciate you making the time for me as well, and send my wishes and thoughts and positive energy out around the planet. So that it feels great to me too.
Absolutely, Mr. Macchio. Is it okay if I call you Ralph?
You better call me Ralph. Otherwise, it's gonna make me think I'm my dad.
No, well,
that's
you know
what I always
what?
tell people.
Listen, in the movie, you're from Newark. I grew up in Newark, and that's how we did it back. It's respect.
Yeah, but he's from Long Island. I'm from Long Island. I'm from Levittown. He's from Huntington.
That's right. Well, we're all from the same. We sound like this sounds like a Friday night high school conversation. It's awesome.
Exactly.
You know what, Ralph? I can't tell you. You know, I saw the advertisement for the series Cobra Kai, and I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed. I binge watched it in like 3 or 4 hours, and it's so long in coming. And what I was surprised to learn is that you were really a little reluctant to do this.
Well, I was reluctant to go back to the well, as it were. I always was very protective of the Daniel LaRusso character and the Karate Kid franchise, and certainly the magic and soul that came out of that first film and has resonated for so many decades for so many people around the world. It was very, it's very difficult to jump back in and not know whether you're going to all of a sudden taint the legacy or whether you're going to, lift it up higher or bring it in a different direction. Right. I certainly trusted our three creators of this show because they were fans and they wanted to make the story, tell a story that the fans would want to see, but yet make it relevant and fresh for 2018. It's not an easy thing to do. So right. I was kind of the last guy to the party, just from a protective point of view.
Right.
But I felt I was making the right decision and believed in my gut that these were the right guys to find another angle and a fresh way of getting back to these characters and then serving up to the fans everything they would want it to be, and yet now bring new fans along for the younger generation. But it exceeded my expectations at this point. The groundswell of reviews and the views that we're getting, is just unbelievable, and it's very, very rewarding.
You know what? I can't agree with you more. And, growing up in the 80s and watching all those movies that become iconic, and sometimes as a viewer, I watch stuff and I'm like, why did they have to go and do this? Why couldn't they just leave it alone? And I understand the reason why you're a little apprehensive, and it's rightly so. But I swear to God, I'm not just saying this because I'm a fan of yours, and I'm saying this from a purely non-partisan, non-biased. That it couldn't have been done any better, and like you said, it brings in the core audience with the pop culture from back in the day that saw it firsthand and incorporates it into the new generation. I don't think it could have been done any better. And
I agree with you. It really I do. We all collaborated together, and it was very much. It's a tango. It's so many different parts to come together. But the vision that John, Josh, and Hayden had was very clear. And also the other thing they did so well, and I'm most proud of, or one of the things I'm proud of, is the Karate Kid film was very black and white, meaning good over evil.
Right.
The bad guys were really, really bad. The good guys were really, really good. And in a classic kind of way. And what they've done with Cobra Kai is they've created a little bit more gray areas with these middle-aged guys, and your allegiance changes episode to episode of who you're kind of rooting for as the protagonist versus the antagonist.
Right.
And it adds a little bit of moral ambiguity and a little more fully rounded way. And I think even with the young high school world, they do the same thing. And so it's a fresh take on classic characters, and then we get to we get all that nostalgia and those Easter egg little surprises in there that make the fans all excited as well.
And the writing is superb. Well,
that's what makes the whole series. I mean,
it's great.
Ralph, we just had Marty Cove on. We talked to him earlier today, and
oh, great.
Back in the day, I remember bullying, but I don't think it was like as prevalent as it is now. So the movie The Karate Kid, and now morphing into Cobra Kai, it's more relevant now because this bullying seems to have been for maybe over the past 5 or 6 years, and maybe longer. It seems to be so widespread. The movie is just as relevant, maybe even more so now.
More so.
And I just what.
Now it's not just bullying person to person. Now it's on platforms, social platforms and stuff. It's everywhere.
And you know what?
The social media platforms what changed the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And made it more. Daniel, and we touch on that in the show in a way, and it's really smart, I believe, also because what happens? Listen, Daniel LaRusso comes home with a black eye, and his mom says, "Take the sunglasses off." She sees the black eye. What's happened? What's going on? I have concern.
Right.
It's to parent that is it's right there in your face. And now it's so covert. People are having silent conversations. You have no idea what's being said.
Exactly.
How do you parent someone who's being bullied over a text or Instagram stories or whatever? It makes it far more complicated.
Yeah.
And so we touch on that a bit, and I think it's important. It's a very difficult issue because it is as simple as back in the day, give me your lunch money or I'm going to stuff you in a locker, or schoolyard bullying, now to as disastrous as a Columbine scenario, or where it's very complicated. But I think for it to be part of the theme of Cobra Kai, the same way as it was in the Karate Kid, in a different evolution, is I think it's good. It adds levels and layers to it, beyond to the entertainment value, which it certainly has.
Right.
You know what? I couldn't agree with you more when you said that your allegiance as you watch the episodes changes, because I'm very conflicted. Now, I came in from the core audience from back in the day, and I see John Lawrence. He's a broken down man. He's looking for redemption. He helps this kid from getting jumped, and he protects him, but then he wants to mentor him. But then he's teaching him. Then he turns into Kreese when he's teaching him. So it's like, well, wait a minute, you're trying to help this kid, but now you're going back to that teaching that this other guy taught you that wasn't exactly the right thing. So I love the confusion, but it's like, and
That's the idea. That's the idea.
But it seems like it was a role reversal. Like now John is a handyman, like Mr. Miyagi was a handyman, and the kid just moved.
Right.
You know, it seems like a whole flip flop.
I love it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, because the Miguel character is sort of the millennial Daniel LaRusso, you know.
Right.
And but his Mr. Miyagi is a little bit far more rough around the edges and is struggling with his own.
Right.
He's trying to fit into society as a 50-year-old guy and quite abrasive and can't help himself but be you know but be that rough and it's kind of fun to see a Johnny Lawrence character that is you know, not politically correct and was not one of those guys that would give every kid a trophy just because he showed up to the game.
Right.
You know, and so there is some credence to that. And then you have Daniel LaRusso on the other side. It is, you know, things have gone quite well for him and maybe he's gotten a little complacent and lost a little bit of his own balance and focus with the void of Mr. Miyagi not being there for him. And so it's a nice arc in the season for my character, and he's a little bit, you know, he needs to refine and recharge his battery and focus once again, and it's kind of nice towards the end of the season where you see the stakes start climbing, you know, the stakes get higher and the layers get the layers get more complex, and as to what's going to happen in season 2, because we could talk about that now that the show has been renewed for a second season. Now now we really have our work cut out for us.
I hope this show lasts for 15 seasons because it's been a long.
Oh, I'm right with you. I would love that. Right now, you're my agent. I'm saying right now.
That's it. Italians got to stick together.
That's why I like.
The East Coast guys.
It's like you said. I like the gray area of the now. It's gray. I like that.
Yeah. No, I'm really proud of that, and I think, you know, I was not expecting such an embrace across the board for that.
Right.
Certainly from the critics. You know, you always say I thought for sure there'd be a handful because they were also, when they heard the show was being done, it was a little bit like, okay, now everybody's doing these reboots. It's just another one of those, and it's so cool to see. I mean, the series has 100%. Approval on Rotten Tomatoes, which is every critic across the board, and that doesn't happen very often.
I've never heard of 100% since I've
I keep checking it. Listen, if I got a 75 in school, I was happy. 100%. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with myself.
Ralph, we have a mutual friend. I do stand-up comedy, and I was telling him that I was going to have you on, and he says to say hello. Artie says to say hello.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And I loved you in Beer League. That was a great movie, I got to tell you.
That was my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, listen, Artie's, it was a great to be a part of that film, and he's always been, anytime we get together or connect, you know, because we're so different for so many reasons.
Yeah,
but there's a mutual respect. He's one of the best storytellers. When he really wraps his head around a story and he's locked in, he just can't. You know, he's great at that. And besides being funny and talented and everything else, and I lead the domestic life of married for 31 years with 2 kids, which we've discussed. He can't possibly understand that being real. And it's kind of fun that 2 guys can have a conversation and get along and be that different. I respect his talent, and I'm always rooting for him to overcome those hurdles that have come in his way.
Yeah.
Plus,
I love him on Crashing too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, you're in one of our favorite movies that we quote all the time. My Cousin Vinny.
Oh, whatever.
We quote that movie all the time. We quote it all the time.
I know. The cool thing about My Cousin Vinny, I call it the late for dinner movie, because if that movie's on when you're heading out to dinner, you might as well call the restaurant and say you're going to be late.
Exactly.
It really has, besides Joe Pesci and his fantastic performance, and Marissa Tomei and that breakout, Fred Gwynne, all those great actors. It had a script that, and it's just interesting. It's not unlike the original Karate Kid film, the first. You know, the original film that had those great setups that paid off so well.
Yeah.
But My Cousin Vinny really has those one after the other. It's just setting up, and the payoffs are bigger and funnier, and
it's classic
and relatable in a way. You just root for that underdog. You know, there it is. There are hurdles. You root for the underdog.
Plus, I love Austin Pendleton's stuttering lawyer.
Stuttering public. That's the funniest. If you go back and watch My Cousin Vinny, and you look when Austin Pendleton is in the foreground doing "Ladies and Gentlemen" of the and you cut and you look behind him at me and Mitchell Whitfield and Pesci, our shoulders are going up and down like Simpsons characters.
Let me tell you something. That's one of those movies that, no matter how many times it's on, you're gonna watch it
every time.
But I gotta ask you about the Karate Kid. When you were making that movie, Ralph, did you have any idea? I mean, besides the obvious talent of the cast and the chemistry, did you have any idea it was going to blow up to be this movie? I mean, I know it's hard to tell when you're first doing it, but sometimes you talk to actors and they say, you know what, we sort of thought we had something.
Is that the end of your question?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what the end of the question was.
Are you there? You guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing is, I think when I was making the film, I always attest to this. I always felt that there was an ease and a purity in my relationship with Pat Morita and the scenes with him. They were just very natural, and he was just the right guy in the glove. He just had every element of that character, and I just reacted, and we reacted off each other in a very natural way, and that felt, it was just, I don't even know if it was, I know it was natural now that I look at it, but then it just felt easy, and I learned as a young actor that if it feels that easy, it often is that natural, and so I always felt that on the day felt like we had something special. As far as the movie being what it became, and certainly forget about what it's become over the past 34 years, its place in pop culture and how it's become an iconic piece of people's childhood. You never know that. But I think certainly after I saw the first sneak preview, I remember the producer Jerry Weintraub coming up to me as we walked out of the theater and saw everybody on 2nd Avenue doing the crane kick. He said, I think we're going to be making a couple of these. It was just, it's a great story. I always love to tell because that's, I always equivalent that to like when you come out of a Broadway musical and you can't get that song out of your head. Right. And that's the same kind of thing. You have a hit.
You know what? You're right, because it's one of those movies like for example, Rocky. Everybody came out of the movie and wants to start boxing with people.
Everybody with exercise.
Or running up the steps.
Right.
Running up the steps.
Yep.
Ralph.
And, it's amazing.
Ralph, we have a question from one of our online listeners. Out and
sure.
He's listening to from one of the Air Force bases in Germany. He wants to know: did you have any actual martial arts training, or did you learn during the course of the movie?
I learned during the course of I had about 5 weeks of training with Pat Johnson. He was our fight coordinator, and he actually played the referee in the movie. Right, so the guy with the red shirt that said red, that was Pat Johnson, and he designed all the choreography in the original film. So I had some, I was not a great athlete by any stretch, still and not, and I think that's part of the part of what works so well and why you root for Daniel LaRusso. He had no business winning anything, so maybe he just represented a piece of all of us, and we could relate. Like we could be that kid. He was the every kid next door,
right?
So I just worked hard. I mean, at being as convincing as possible. And the bottom line is, if I had a kick that looked good, it was in the movie. If I had a kick that didn't look good, we didn't put it in the movie.
I have one more question from one of our online listeners. They want to know, when did Ralph Macchio know that he wanted to be an actor? Where did it start for you?
That's a good question. It started pretty early. I just had no idea how I'd ever be able to achieve it. When I was a kid in New York, they had this thing at Channel 11, the 4:30 movie. It was like it had this Gone with the Wind theme. My mom would have it on every day after school.
Yeah.
And I'd I'd watch all these old classic movies, from On the Waterfront to Streetcar Named Desire to Singing in the Rain. And I wanted to be somewhere. I wanted to be Gene Kelly and Marlon Brando at the same time.
Right.
And I used to watch the musicals with my mom too. So I do the plays in school here and there, and in between, like, Little League practice and wanting to be a Tom Seaver. I'm dating myself now, but this is I wanted all those things. And then so early on, I enjoyed being on stage. Even though I was never front and center, I was always third guy from the left and the back,
Right.
Whether I did Guys and Dolls and I was like gangster number 22 or whatever I was. And so a couple of auditions came up through a freelance person that knew how to get you on commercial auditions. And I got, I was the right kid at the right time. And I always looked young for my age. I'm still trying to pull that off. And so that helped out, because I was older than I looked. So a couple roles came my way, and before I knew it, I got super lucky with The Outsiders, which was my first big,
that was
one of my first big films, and then followed up with Karate Kid and on from there.
You know what, Ralph? I got to tell you, I love all your movies, but you know what I really enjoyed? It was a little off the Crossroads.
That was a great movie.
Oh, I love Crossroads.
That was a great movie.
That's a great. And musicians love that film, and there are guys of guitar players that still try to master that duel at the end, the Eugene's Bag of Tricks, the back and forth guitar duel. It's a great film. As a great film director by the name of Walter Hill, who did 48 Hours and other films, with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte, and he did the show. Oh God, what was that? Deadwood. He's a great filmmaker, and he really told a cool story, a great looking movie, and some kick-ass music too. So check that one out if you haven't seen it. It's got some good stuff.
Ralph, if you want to bring back your dream of Gene Kelly and Marlon Brando, you could do Singing in the Apocalypse.
That's right, Singing in the Apocalypse. There you go. I guess, but Brando did have, Guys and Dolls, the movie. He played Sky Masterson. But, that's what you do. You start mashing up titles and doing stuff like that.
We have one more question on the online.
Sure.
There's a viewer that wants to know, what was Pat Morita really like? Was he more Mr. Miyagi? Because we know and love him from the Happy Days as Arnold, and when we saw him, generally morph into that character. He seemed to be the sweetest, and he was one celebrity.
He was a comedian.
He was the one celebrity I always wanted to meet in my life.
Yeah, Pat was very. It's interesting. He started out. He didn't even start acting. He didn't start in show business until he was 30 years old.
Right.
And then he went. He became a stand-up comedian, and then Happy Days happened from there, and a few other things, and obviously the Karate Kid and Mr. Miyagi was just just an Academy Award nominated performance.
Yeah.
And he was. I think he felt that same ease and naturalness that we had, and there was a affinity we had for each other, because we sort of knew that there was a partnership that was created, certainly when the movie came out, that was bigger than both of us.
Yeah.
It became, I say that on the Karate Kid film, it's the fans' movie, and now this show, Cobra Kai, is the fans' show. This movie has become bigger than the actors in it, and even the filmmakers who made it. It's become, and I think Pat recognized that, and he recognized how special it was. Always, we stayed in contact over the years. I mean, there was some times where we didn't speak as much because everybody gets busy in their lives. But fortunately for me, I got to present him about a year before he passed away with a Lifetime Achievement Award, an Asian Excellence Awards at Lincoln Center, and I got to say everything I would ever want to say about our relationship and our on-screen relationship and off-screen, and the respect that I paid him and he gave back to me. And part of that we put in this show. It was very important to me early on when this was being pitched to me that the essence of who Mr. Miyagi was in LaRusso's life would still be peppered throughout this show and be an influence and be an integral part of the show in some way, because you wouldn't have this show without Pat Morita's performance in that film.
Right.
You just wouldn't.
Right. I'll tell you what.
And I think the people I see online, people are really happy that homage and respect is being paid with the series.
Without a doubt. I mean, you know what? I as far as your career, Ralph, is there anything that you want to do there's like a bucket list of stuff that you really want to do? I mean, Cobra Kai is blowing up, and like I said, I hope it lasts for quite a long time. Is there anything that you feel you need to do or you would like to do? Maybe
that you haven't
either.
done?
Well, sure. I mean, there's always. I mean, I'd like to explore in all different directions. I mean, whether it's film, television, or theater. Behind the camera a little bit more. I've done some directing of short films. I would like to venture more into that area. It's kind of fun. I'm on this show now called The Deuce on HBO. I have a small part, but it's a real character part. I play a vice cop, a crooked vice cop from the 70s in Times Square in New York. And it's a show that was about the birth of the porn industry and sort of chronicles that. If anyone has seen The Wire, which is a very cool HBO show, the same creators that make that show. Yes. And it's kind of fun to play, a
bad guy,
not so likable guy. Yeah. I've done a decent amount of the boy next door and the guy you root for, and even in Cobra Kai, it's kind of fun to be a good-hearted guy, but that has some flaws, you know.
Right.
So I think complexity of character and certainly, sure. Would I like to be in an Avengers movie and just set my family up? That would be nice. But I'd also like to explore all different types of characters. There's not that one role that I said, I would love to do this, that. I mean, I think casting is important, and I want to, meaning that if someone's miscast, it doesn't help a movie. So I don't necessarily go out and look to play something like that is opposite of anything I am, as much as bring depth and layers to whatever character. And a lot of that starts with the writing. You know.
Can I ask you? Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Ralph, I want to ask you something off topic a little bit. On the roast of Rob Lowe on Comedy Central, I kind of felt sorry for you being in the middle of all that craziness, but I also like the idea that you were sitting pretty close to Jewel.
That's right. I was sitting pretty close to Jewel.
That was pretty nice. That was a nice dress.
Yeah, that was. There were worse places to be sitting, and it was fun. The Rob Lowe roast was, it's crazy time. You catch a lot of shrapnel, but I did a decent amount of self-deprecation, which I enjoyed, and at the end of it, I think I stuck the landing because it came back around.
Right.
And then plus he's so darn pretty. I needed to, you got to cut him up a little bit.
Hey, Ralph, let me ask you, why did they choose because of the negative connotation with the Cobra Kai in the original film, why did they choose that for the new series?
Why did they choose that name?
Yeah.
I think when I first pitched it to me, they said, we have an idea for a show, and it's called Cobra Kai. It was like a punch to the stomach. I was like, what? Right. You can't name it. I mean, I'm Miyagi-Do all the way. Come on. But here's the thing. Cobra Kai has become a brand just because of the fame of the Karate Kid film.
Yeah.
And people, they were like the villains you love to hate, but wish you were as cool that you could have a motorcycle and a leather jacket and do kick-ass karate.
Right.
Even though, and I think that was these writers. These writers were three, and they still are, they're three kind of Daniel LaRusso type nerds that wish that they could be as cool as Cobra Kai.
Right. And you can't call it Karate Kid. And you wouldn't be able to call it Karate Kid. You have to call it Karate Man.
Yeah, well, Ralph, we're getting the red light. We ran over time, and I apologize.
Yeah, no, I'm good. But I think we hit on some good stuff, and I hope everyone enjoyed. And I'm sending all my good wishes and love and thoughts out there, and respect to everyone listening right now.
Yes, and I really thank you for taking the time. You have an open door anytime you want to come on. I could ask you, can you do us one favor before you leave?
Oh, you're asking me on the air, so now I look bad if I say no. But let me.
No, you don't have to say yes.
No. Would you please do a station ID for us here?
Sure. How does that go?
You introduce yourself and say you're listening to the Animal House radio show on the Hamiltonradio network.
Okay, wait. That's a monologue. Wait 1 second. I can do it.
Yeah, the Animal House radio show. Animal House Radio Show.
What's it?
Well, go ahead. Yes.
Animal, just give it to me.
It's the Animal House Radio Show on the Hamilton Radio Network.
Okay. Hamilton.
That's a monologue. I love it.
Animal House Radio Show. Okay, I'm ready. Okay?
Anytime you want.
Okay. Hi, this is Ralph Macchio, and you're listening to the Animal House Radio Show on the Hamilton Radio Network.
Perfect. Thank you so
Ralph,
much.
Nice.
God bless you. Thank you. I apologize to Stephen that we ran over. Thank you. Good luck with Cobra Kai.
You're in big trouble. Big trouble by 34 seconds. All right, man. I'm out.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
out.
Thank you.
You got it, guys.
Thank you.
Ralph Macchio, everybody.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more show. Don't go anywhere. This is the Animal House Radio Show.
Wow.
That's great. Yeah, that was great. That was
Great interview.
That was a lot of fun. He's a good guy too. I've always heard good things about him. Never heard anything negative about him.
So,
ever.
Gene, what'd you think?
I think it was great. I think he was wonderful, and he sounds so young. I mean, believe it or not, he's
a lot older than you think.
I know, but he sounds so young.
He looks young. He's still. I think he has a painting in the attic that's getting very old. But he's very young for his age.
He wasn't in a hurry. And Martin Cove was great too. Great interviews tonight.
Yeah.
If y'all keep this up, we're gonna have to give y'all a Hamiltonradio award.
Yeah, right.
So does you have
a trophy or something?
That's it. We're giving out trophies. The Beastie. You're gonna get a Beastie.
We're gonna get a Beasties, all right.
You know, I created an award event, and now all of a sudden the whole neighborhood's got trophies.
The whole neighborhood? The Theodore Jiggets Award.
Theodore Jiggets.
Theodore Jiggets Award.
That's funny, but yeah, I'm glad everything went off without. I was a little worried because of the weather, because we always have to be, with the internet connection. That one time we lost a couple interviews.
Well, if this interview would have been yesterday, we would have had no sound probably.
Yeah,
that was bad. Really? We had. Man, the wind was incredible.
Yeah, and there was God forbid that it's a shame there was a couple of people killed.
Yeah.
An 11-year-old girl got crushed in a car because a tree fell on the car.
Yeah. Oh my God.
How the hell does that happen? Like, who allows this to happen though? Seriously.
Car companies.
Wrong place, wrong time, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't have your music here because my iPad is on the fritz. But it's time, everybody, for your favorite segment of the evening. It's with our very own Big Kahuna, Ed Ruffalo. It's time for the Way the F Out There news. Take it away, Ed.
Man joins the dark side and beats mom with lightsaber. A 42-year-old Pennsylvania man is facing an assault and harassment charges after allegedly beating his mother with a Star Wars lightsaber, according to court records. Police responding to an April 27th disturbance call at a home in Dubois found...
Dubois?
Dubois.
I thought that was in Arkansas or Iowa.
In Pennsylvania, there's a Dubois.
Yeah. No, that's it.
Okay.
That's it then, yeah.
Okay.
But there's only one of them.
Yeah.
Found Joan Vargas, 75, being treated by EMS workers. Vargas was bleeding from gashes on her head and wrist. She told police that her son Andrew had hit her repeatedly with what she called a lightsaber. Made famous from the Star Wars movie. Thanks. You didn't put that line in, we would have knew. Vargas said she was sitting in a dining room chair when her son began screaming over someone eating his tuna fish sandwich he had left in the fridge and went ballistic. He immediately ran for his lightsaber. What a dildo this kid must be. That he paid over $200 for at a recent convention and began striking her with the lightsaber in the head. Wow. On her back neck area and on her wrist repeatedly. The 6'4", 330-pound Vargas owns many other lightsabers, his mother told investigators. Man, you
how old is this guy?
What's the difference? If he's over 11, he needs a beating.
Yeah, definitely.
When he subsequently confronted by the cops, Andrew Vargas stood in front of police and yelled, "May the force be with you, bitches," and began swinging wildly at the police, screaming how much he was looking forward to eating his tuna sandwich only to have it gone. Vargas claimed that she was hitting herself and that she had many issues, one being a son who owns way too many lightsabers.
No, he's trying to say that the mother inflicted her own issue.
Yes, I know. I'm making fun of him.
Oh, okay.
Andrew Vargas, who lives with his mother, was arrested on misdemeanor assault and harassment charges. He's being held in Clearfield County Jail in lieu of $10,000 bail. Vargas's rap sheet includes prior convictions for theft, drunk driving, criminal trespass, and impersonating a Jedi.
This kid should be put on a spaceship and sent to the Death Star.
Hey, though, can you relate, though, to have your tuna sandwich eaten, though?
I don't think I'd whip out a lightsaber over a tuna sandwich, but
you can't fix
I might be a little upset.
You can't fix stupid. You just can't fix it.
In the words of Ron Wright, you can't fix stupid.
You can't, man.
I only got 5 minutes. Remember that story Paulie told us? when Bill Kinnison said he got open for Sam. I need you to do about 15 or 20 minutes. I only got 5 minutes. We'll talk really slow. And by the way, I'm eating one of Francesca's Deli's delicious turkey and cheese sandwiches, 2119 Whitesville Road. 732-363-5555. The turkey is making my mouth water. Now back to Big Ed.
I'm drinking the lovely water. This is from Hamilton Studios, from the refrigerator.
I might have black mold.
I got a Dunkin' Donuts cup, but there's nothing in it. There was soda.
Your cup doesn't run us over.
Santa Claus is a panty pervert.
All right, I knew it. I knew it.
A man known in his trailer park as Santa Claus has been convicted of breaking into a neighbor's home to leave her notes and panties he wanted to see her wear. The Bay County Sheriff's Office arrested, for crying out loud, Isidro Lee Sanchez, with an S, in April 17 after serving a search warrant on his Kimbrell Avenue trailer in Callaway when they found about 90 pounds of women's underwear. That's a lot of thongs.
Or one of Oprah's.
Sanchez, with an S, faces up to 40 years in prison. Jeez, that's like 6 months for every pair.
Yeah.
On the combined charges, according to the state's attorney's office. Prosecutor Cali Verrero told the jury that from January to April 17, one of Sanchez's neighbors received countless notes and pieces of undergarments in her car, on her front porch, and inside her home on her bed.
Button up your petticoat.
No one thought to look at Santa Claus for breaking and entering. Within each note was a subtle message that Santa Claus was watching her and waiting for the day he could see her in the underwear he picked. While she sat in his lap telling her what she wanted for Christmas. No one thought it was this guy. Got away with it for 4 months, for crying out loud. He had also stated in the notes that he would sing out her name while he was sniffing her underwear and sang various Broadway show tunes and songs from the classic Disney movie Beauty and the Beast.
Sounds like he was after her cookies.
Yeah, right.
This case was a nightmare, Rivera said. It was one long nightmare from January to April because no one thought to look after Santa Claus when he asked her to sit on his lap in the notes. Months passed after she continued to find women's underwear on her front porch, in her kitchen, on her bed. After she went to work April 13th, her boyfriend heard someone enter the residence and confronted a male neighbor.
Did he have bells? Did like
known as Santa Claus in the kitchen. Apparently he was jingling his bells.
I'm sorry, Gene. Were we having a radio show while you were talking?
Yes, that happens quite often during radio shows with Gene. He found the man in the kitchen staring back at him and demanded answers. Instead, the man he confronted stared off like a deer in the headlights.
A deer?
You know something about that.
A reindeer in the headlights?
Carlo knows something about that.
Twice.
He then walked to the door and used his shirt to turn the knob and leave. Sanchez, what is this? Then walked home to his trailer, looked over his shoulder to see the boyfriend in pursuit. After that, BCSO obtained a search warrant and recovered a 30-pound bag of women's underwear from Sanchez's home.
You sure it's not Sanchez?
Well, Sanchez usually with a Z.
Sometimes with an S.
It's Sanchez. It's not my fault they can't spell.
Like chicken franchise?
Exactly. It's unclear if there were other victims, but the woman said she was traumatized by the experience. Yes, it must be tough getting all that free clothing.
Yeah, exactly.
You live in a trailer park, honey. Be glad someone's giving you anything.
Look all the fiber she was getting.
He was just my neighbor. We waved a couple of times, she said. I felt violated and scared. Scared for my children, who I allowed to sit on his lap. After a one-day trial, jurors on Friday found Sanchez, 59, guilty as charged Thursday on 3 counts of burglary and a count of aggravated stalking. Sanchez is scheduled to be sentenced in June.
Sanchez. I like the way you're putting the emphasis. That sounds like chicken franchise.
That's what I said.
I can go for some chicken franchise.
That's what I said 5 minutes ago. Where were you?
Good job.
He was still interviewing Ralph Macchio.
I was too busy eating my sandwich from Francesca's Deli, our terrific sponsor, Chef Roy.
Well, he was giving her underwear. He wasn't stealing it.
He had a 90. He apparently had 90 pounds worth of underwear, or 30 pounds, depending on what paragraph you read.
He worked for Macy's.
If you had, how many underwears make up 90 pounds of yours?
I don't mind one.
The main thing is, though, he probably worked for Victoria's Secret.
Probably.
Or else we know it.
Yeah, in the North Pole.
Now we know the secret.
Well, apparently he didn't have a very good job, whatever it was, because he was living in a trailer park.
All right, we got something special for the last 10 minutes of the show.
What do we got?
Marion Ross, who we had on a couple of weeks ago.
Twice.
Had some technical difficulties. I won't get into that, Gene. But she's coming back on next week because she loved us so much and she felt bad about the echoing. She's a good sport. We're also going to have on next week Nupi Rodriguez. Now you're going to say, who the hell is Nupi Rodriguez?
No, it's Nupi.
Now, Nupi Rodriguez is the daughter of Rosemary from the Dick Van Dyke Show. Yeah. Rosemary passed away this year, but when Rosemary died, somebody stole her identity and robbed her of all her money, so Nupi's going to come on and tell us about that.
Hang on, Nupi.
Nupi, hang on.
Right. So, Marion Ross has sent us 4 autographed copies of her book, which we sent out to various people. We have 1 copy left that's signed that we're going to give away tonight. And it's not going to be a trivia question where you can Google and answer. I have a sound, and Paul and Ed Hughes are not eligible. So
of course
it don't say nothing.
Is Ralph Macchio eligible?
No.
Because I'll give him the answer, and he can call in.
But we have this sound. If you can tell me where this sound is from or what this sound is, you'll win a copy of Marion Ross's book.
We won't joke. We won't say.
It's Carlo burping.
No, everybody can hear me. So, Gene, play that when you're ready, and we'll play it more than once.
We won't say anything. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sounds like the sounds of silence.
By Disturbed?
Gilbert and Sullivan.
Simon and Garfunkel?
Way to go, Gene. And the technical difficulties continue to mount here at Hamilton Radio. We could do a show just on technical difficulties.
What did he do wrong, Monk?
Oh my God, where's Ruben?
Well, Ruben makes it worse.
Yeah, I know. He'll just unplug things and plug things in, but at least it looks like he's doing something.
All I know is the last time we worked on the board, we had like 16 extra wires left over.
Yeah. Yeah.
So many things plugged into nowhere.
Dude, he was doing my show. Ruben was just unplugging things and plugging other things back in, and he's pulling wires out and throwing them.
We fixed it, though. We fixed it all.
Can I what?
Yeah, just in time for my show to end.
Send it to my email.
No.
If you send it to my email, because if I take it, I'm going to take all your pictures away.
Oh, that's not nice.
What pictures?
Over here.
Yeah, just in time for my show. You perv.
What was that?
He's playing it.
You perv.
No, you got to come in.
There you go. They got me calling him a perv.
Who's Santa Claus?
Yeah, it is.
All right, try it again.
That's what I was trying to say. No.
So
try to play it again, Gene.
So if you can guess that sound,
maybe
folks.
you convert it to an MP3. That's why.
I don't know. I got it. I played it. Windows Media Player should play it.
How many years you been in business now? What did you say before? 30?
30, yeah.
30 years you can't convert?
It isn't me.
It's someone else's
It's
fault.
not on a computer to convert. I have to put it on another computer.
Oh, he's going to convert it on
I played
another
it at
computer.
home. I had no problem playing it.
He had no problem playing in the home, and his computer's all screwed up.
What are you converting it to, Catholic or Jewish?
Yeah, right? Judaism. We're going to...
I hate to do this, but I got to do it.
It's going to pave the way for Christianity.
And you're not going to erase nothing on there?
He'll erase everything.
I'll put it over here.
Yeah, let's try that. All right.
Don't erase my show.
Talk.
All right,
Hello,
so
we're talking.
we have this one sound effect that if whoever...
That we're never going to hear.
Yes, well, whichever one of our listeners can guess what that is, they will win an autographed copy of Marion Ross's book, My Days, which she graciously
I think we heard enough.
Yeah. right, pause it a second, Gene.
Now we can't turn it off.
That's what it sounds like when Gene's working on the board.
All right. If anybody can guess what that was, you will win a free copy of Marion Ross's book. So that's our sound effect.
The first person that says clusterfuck wins.
Yes.
Gene, he's a consummate professional. Wait, we forgot a category. Audio Engineer of the Year.
Ruben Rodriguez. He's the only one not here.
Everett.
Where's Q?
All right. Yeah, where's Q, right?
Where's Everett? Yeah. It's in the closet still.
Hey, I'll give you one since we're sitting here while they figure that out. Let me tell you why I think bullying is more prevalent now than back then.
Yeah, why is
back then, like in the Karate Kid, we were taught to fight back against our bullies.
Kick their ass. That's right.
Nowadays, instead of being told to fight back against your bullies, you're told to run and go tell an adult.
No, you're told to go run into a safe place.
Yeah, go to a safe place. Go tell an adult. Tell somebody you're being bullied. Back in the day, if you were being bullied, you fought back like a man.
Right.
You smacked a guy right in his mouth, and you took away his heart, and it was done deal.
And that's how you got rid of a bully. Today, they just keep bullying you, and,
difference is
and
today,
nobody stops them.
The difference is today, they do it online, too. That's the problem.
Well, yeah,
That's the problem. That's the real problem today.
That's a big part of it too. That you know they ain't got the, which just goes to prove how gutless the bullies are. Because at least back in the day they would do it to your face. Now they ain't even got the guts to do it to your face.
Most bullies, you stand up to them, they stand down right away.
Right.
It's just yeah.
Now these kids they bully you online because there's no consequence. You can't get beat up in your living room.
Right.
I mean, I would go in the kids' living room and smack them around, but that's a different story.
You can't do that today. Now we used to be able to. You used to be able to hit kids with power strips. Now you can't do that. Those will call Dyfus on you.
That's please, by all means, call Dyfus. Take him.
I'd rather call Richard Dreyfuss.
Gene, play that sound one more time.
Can we get him?
Not too loud though.
I get a ton of Jaws questions.
Yeah,
Need a bigger boat.
He's a tough get.
I know.
Couldn't get near him at the Chiller convention. The line was going.
I can imagine.
Oh my God. The
Monk, please.
I'd rather see Bruce.
I just wanted to tell him how much I love the Mr. Holland's Opus because I love that movie. I think they got the sound.
Hey, good news, Carlo.
That sounds like Gene fixing the board.
We have an answer online, and it came from Drusella.
Right, what is it?
Drusella answered.
All right.
Well, she can't play. She's one of the show.
Where did she answer it? I don't see it.
Don't put it on. She told her not to post it.
Yeah, she posted it.
Oh,
let me see it before you say anything. Just
I didn't say anything.
Giselle, you can't play. You're one of the staff.
You're one of the DJs here. You're a host.
Yeah, where is this?
I am going to get
towards
a
the bottom
shake and a wellness shot. That's how I start my morning every morning.
Who the hell is that?
What the hell was that one? Is that on yours?
You'd be amazed what displays here.
Yeah, we have a guest and they can't even see him.
Wait a minute. We do have a. Be more specific. Danielle and Joey Ventoso gave an answer. Yeah, they did.
The alpha male and female of the week.
Well, they pretty much said it.
Which? Yeah, but you got to be more specific. What machine was it?
Well, don't say. Now you say machine. Other people are trying to guess.
I'm saying part of her answer that she already gave, so I'm not giving any away. Danielle and Joey, if you're listening, there you go. It's the everlasting gobstopper machine from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. All right, Danielle, as soon as Marion gives, the books will be here any day. As soon as she does, you got a copy. Inbox us on the Animal House Radio Show page, your address, and we will send one out to you. Mary, yours should be there Saturday. I got the tracking number, and I'm going to inbox you with tomorrow. You'll have your book from Tommy James, and that should be it.
If you look inside the book, if you see a golden seal,
golden ticket.
The golden ticket. That means you're going somewhere.
You get a free date with Ed Ruffalo.
There you go.
That's a scary thought.
Dinner for one.
You're buying.
A couple of important dates. Don't forget, next month we're going to do the Beasties Awards.
Yep.
The Animal House first annual Animal House Radio Show Awards. The Beasties. This Saturday, May 19th. There are still tickets available if you're a Trekkie or you love the TV show Star Trek. They're doing a special screening.
With Data.
Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan at the NJ Pack.
Khan!
After, now that I can't hear anymore, after the movie, they will have a Q&A with William Shatner, and then For those of you who want the meet and greet package, is available for, I believe, $150. You get to see and speak with Captain Kirk himself. So that's this Saturday, May 19th. Paul, what do you got coming up?
I'm doing a private show in Glassboro this weekend.
So that means you can't go, guys.
I can't go, unfortunately. I'd like to. I would have gone.
And Mr. Ruffalo, what do you got coming up? Phenomenal. I gotta commend you.
I don't even know.
What's the name of the young lady that sang earlier?
Sammy Dobrace, Samantha Dobrace.
Dobrace. Okay, very good.
Yeah, she did a great job.
Yeah.
My grandson's a lunatic.
It's genetic, right?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh, you know what? I just thought of a great category.
Genetics?
No. Best in studio performance.
Well, that's part of musician.
But that's an interview, though. That's more of
No,
talking.
this said best musician interview or best song. Best song.
Oh, but okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be live, right?
No, it could be live. It could be in the studio.
Could be Memorex.
Yeah, it could be anything.
All right, Gene, guess what? We're done, and we're done 2 minutes early. Gene's like, oh, thank you, buddy. I can go home and remediate more of my mood.
Can we let Gene play more sound effects?
Wait a minute.
Let's let Gene play more sound effects.
Does he? Wait, yeah. What is your, on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, what is your rate of my impression of Gene?
Oh, that's an 11.
Well, it's an embellishment, so I can't say it's an exact thing, but I think it's a funny impression. I like that one. Wow. That's a good sound effect.
Hey, it's Andrew Vargas.
That's an easy one.
It's Andrew Vargas. He's going after his mother.
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why is my ears buzzing?
That's why.
No, it's from the you got the volume up.
Luke, I'm your father.
No,
Luke.
Turn down Ed's mic, man. He's blowing us out tonight. Which one is this?
This is from Star Trek.
What is
I
it,
didn't
though?
even hear it.
Yeah, Star Trek.
All right, but what is it, though?
It's the thing, the controls. The captain's controls.
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
That was the
It is
captain's
not.
controls.
It's not the captain's controls. It's controls, but
It's
not,
a computer of some
It has
kind.
nothing to do with the bridge.
It's the pylons from Land of the Lost.
Oh, well, it's not the transporter, so it's not that.
Yes, it is. It's the transporter.
That doesn't sound like it.
When they beam somebody up.
Transformers.
Yes.
Robots in
the
disguise.
captain's controls were up. That was in the transporter room.
Okay, I knew it was a computer. So
And who was
Star
the
Trek.
engineer?
Scotty, of course.
Well, what was his first name?
McGregor.
Close. It was close. Montgomery.
Montgomery, there you go. Montgomery Scott, that's right.
But, Ed,
I was captain. I need more the lithium crystals.
Is your grandson going to be co-hosting quite often?
God, I hope not.
Did you ever smoke the lithium crystals? Takes you to another
My
place.
head is still spinning from him hosting.
No, I still want to do what you said, Paul. I want to do where you said like in a controlled environment, you give me LSD.
You better be a controlled environment. You better be off the next day too.
No, I wanted, I just wanted to see what kind. Maybe I'll get
Let's do it right on air.
Yeah, I'll do it. I wonder if I get a flash of brilliance or
Someone
something.
better drive us here and back.
I might wind up like, gee, oh, sorry, buddy, I have to go. You know, you didn't give me a grade. What did you say it was? It's not an exact spitting image of his.
It's an embellishment, which is a very good one, though. It's funny.
You're right.
It's a funny
See,
one.
he thinks it's funny, and coming from him, that means a lot.
Well, it's funny, but it's not. That doesn't
he's
sound
the-
like him. But it's.
he's the godfather of comedy, motherfucker.
I'm not the godfather of comedy. I didn't give myself that name.
No, exactly. You didn't give it to you. It was.
Someone gave it to me.
It wasn't self.
Yeah.
Well, you don't get to give yourself your nickname.
Right, exactly.
You have- what kind of Italian are you? You don't give yourself your
That's
nickname.
true.
You
think
get a
he
nickname.
You think he calls himself the Big Kahuna?
That's true. And the comedy tornado was given to me by an agent, so I didn't.
Right.
I didn't come up with that one
You
either.
embraced that. You didn't say, I'm not a tornado.
Well, I felt like a tornado.
I might be a
sometimes.
hurricane, but not a tornado.
I feel like a tornado sometimes. going through my
Hurricanes,
show.
Alice. Hurricanes.
I might be a dust storm, but never a tornado.
I feel like a tornado sometimes. When stuff flies out my mouth, it's like, oh, too late. There it goes.
I feel more. I feel like more like a mudslide.
A mudslide, Gene's an avalanche.
Which reminds me, the winner is doing mud wrestling.
To who?
The best female interviewer does a mud wrestling with Ed.
Oh, yeah, right? Imagine
Pretty
it.
nice one, Ed.
Who did I pick?
Somebody good, I hope.
Oh, I know who I picked. I'm in.
I picked two people in two categories. 'cause there's two
What's your
people.
words of the week, Paul?
The words of the week: quintessential,
Quintessential.
Can you help with that?
extract,
Extract.
and staunch.
Staunch. You like
Staunch.
Yeah, I like that. Staunch was good. What was I like? Gomp. I still like Gomp from last
Gomp
week.
is a great word.
that? Gomp is
Gomp.
great. That's going to go down in the...
My wife calls people like that. She calls them mishdoobs.
Mishdu?
Mishdoobs. He's a mishdoob. That means someone's like, oh.
We call them shimanoods.
Yeah.
But...
Did you ever smoke the lithium crystals, though?
no,
It takes you to another place.
The lifting? No, I never.
So does a bus.
Takes you
Gene,
to
did
another
you?
universe.
Gee, how come you don't do those Facebook videos no more where you go, hey, it's all about the universe. You know, we all have to, we're all different, but we're all the same.
He did one of those today.
She's like the Mr. Rogers of Hamilton.
You know what I can't stand in him? When he says his name,
Listening
Doc
to him?
G. There's a great name, Doc G. Separate the G from Doc. He puts it all together. Then I'm like, when I first met him, I go,
Doc G.
I said, who's the cog? And he's like, what are you talking about? He goes, that's me, I'm Doc G. Separate the fucking G from the Doc. He's got it together. Nobody understands what that word is.
Well, the G is capitalized, right?
No, it's a small G.
Oh, that's why it looks
The
weird.
hell is
It should be Doc with a capital G. Capital D, capital G.
You know what else I can't stand on the Hamilton fucking radio app? The Hamilton, the H is capitalized and the radio is lowercase. And my OCD is driving me fucking nuts. I said, Gene, call the guy up, the app guy, to do some. I'm sorry, buddy, but it takes 13 years. If he doesn't, he resets it, and then I can't do nothing. Gene, can we put our profiles on the website? No, buddy, every time we do it, every time we go to reboot, it changes it. I don't know what to do. I bought my wife a garbage can. She don't like it. I got mold in my house.
No, we should do? We should have a camera on Gene sometime during the show when we have problems. You can see how confused he looks.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, here's another one. I got Jerry Petito run off the station. She's no longer in Hamilton.
Oh, yeah?
According to Gene.
She's down to 15 shows.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, she's on like a third world fucking Iranian world station in Bangladesh.
Oh, she quit, Gene?
Bangladesh is not Iran. That's India.
Well, who cares?
What is she on, Third
They
World
moved.
Radio? But
Are you going to either one? And who cares?
No, I'm not going to either one.
We're going upward.
Closest I get there is go to 7-Eleven.
I don't even want to go there.
It's the closest I get
They
to
do
it.
have good coffee there.
Well, I want to thank everybody. Danielle, make sure you send us your name, but we're going to give you that book.
I already got all
We
that.
need more than a name. You need her address, too.
Well,
don't
you
you?
know, she knows what I meant.
Just can't send it out there with a name on the thing.
But, yeah, make
I know
sure.
where they are. I can get it to them.
You do? Oh,
Yeah.
they're friends of yours?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I went to high school with Joey.
Is that the friends with the singer that came in?
No. They're loyal listeners.
Oh,
I went to
good.
high school with both of them.
Very good. Well,
Wow.
we're a pleasure to have them aboard, and that's it. That's it. We're going to get out of here tonight. Anybody got anything they want to promote before we get
Go
out
to
of here?
comedytornado.com.
ComedyTornado.com.
Hey, when are you going to get a website?
Who's going there?
Big
To
couple.
what?
You never
I gotta
know.
get booked on a show before I build a website.
Julia Angelina Giovinazzo will go there.
Yeah, great. She's gonna fly in from Australia. Who's flying her in?
You have to get a wrestling site. That's what you have to get.
I gotta get a Cheetos site. Is what I need.
You know, you should do.
Where I
You
can
should
buy
do.
more Cheetos.
You should do more videos, like like on your own.
Like shoveling.
No, not shoveling.
Come on,
No.
my shoveling videos are phenomenal.
No, run 5 miles in your flip flops again for charity. And they
I
need
could
a
do that.
40-inch pizza.
I need Dave to come along to film me, and Dave never shows up.
You should do
anymore.
like really crazy things like that for a charity and film it. Like,
Dude, did you ever see the shoveling videos?
No.
Go to my
No.
YouTube page. Watch me shoveling snow.
Oh, okay.
Dressed in
I've
shorts and
never-
flip flops.
I've never seen you do one of those. Where the hell were they? I never.
They're on my YouTube.
YouTube.
Page.
Go on
You
YouTube.
should have
Ed
told me. We
Ruffalo.
would have shared them on our
Dude,
animal.
This was before I even started doing this.
Oh, you got to share them on our wall as a that'd be cool.
They're phenomenal. They're great. I'm tanning in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Windburn.
shoveling-
It's called
yeah.
windburn.
I hope you shovel snow better than Gene plays sound effects.
It's not hard.
But
I don't even need a shovel to do that.
Before we go, I got to just mention this Tuesday at 1 o'clock.
Oh, that's right.
We're going to be interviewing Dee Snider, and then
From-
I just
yeah.
we got a double whammy, and at
We're
2
not
o'clock,
gonna take
back by popular demand,
Eddie Ojeda.
the Money Man, Eddie Money.
Oh, cool. Two people like I know very well.
There you go. You went.
Who
to
don't
school-
remember you?
You went to school with his sister,
I
right?
went to Eddie Money's, but I was in battles of the bands against Eddie all through high school. I know
Right,
from
right.
high school.
Island
And
Street.
Eddie won.
And who was the other person? Oh, and Dee Snider, the Twist Sister when I was in Salty Dog. Yeah, I know.
What was the bands you played against when you were in high school?
It
Well,
was
you weren't in.
Billy
Star-
Joel was in a group called Hassles, and Eddie Money was in a group called the Grapes of Wrath.
The Grapes of
And I was in a
Wrath,
group
okay.
called the Vested Light because
Vested
we
Light.
wore vests and we had a light.
Oh my God!
I one time saw a band that had a guy who wasn't part of the band, but he dressed it up as Merlin the Magician and just danced on the side of the stage the whole
Wait,
time.
you got video of this?
I
gotta
wish
see.
I did.
When was it? How long ago are you talking about?
We're talking, let's see, early 90s at I believe it was still Rock the House. It might have been the Rec Room by then.
What was the name of this band? I don't
remember.
See if we can dig up.
Where was what time was that in?
Wallington.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they were
if
Polish?
you know what a Wallington rolling rink is.
Yeah, I know what that is.
I'm not sure. Wallington. Where's Wallington? I'm not sure where that is.
Wallington.
What was the name of the place?
Next to at the time, it was either Rock the House or the Rec Room.
No, there was another thing in Wallington that we used to go to. It was something.
Oh, Ruins? No, that's Lodi was Ruins.
No, there was JJ's Tavern.
Still is.
But that
Rockefellers, maybe?
No, it was on the main road in Wallington. It was called Rockin' something, because I DJ'd there, and then up the road was another place called JJ's Tavern.
Where's Wallington, though? Where's that near?
It's
right
near,
next to right next to Rutherford.
Yeah,
Rutherford,
Wallington.
Right past Lyndhurst. You go down. It's all Polish people.
It's right past. Yeah, it's right
Polish
past
people?
Rutherford.
Yeah. What was the name of that place? Rock and Sip or something like that.
Are we do Polish jokes now? Is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But all right, we'll see you all next week.
I only know one Polish joke.
What's
it was
that?
Otto and George's joke. It was a
What
great
is it?
joke.
What is it?
So the Polish rapist, they bring him in the lineup, they bring out the girl, he goes, that's her.
Look at Gene. I love it, buddy. You're so funny, Paul. I idolize you,
Otto
Paul.
and George joke. That was
Paul,
great.
can I massage you after the show, Paul? All right, guys. We'll see you all next week. This is the Animal House Radio Show.
Yeah.
Oh. Wake me up next week.
Wake me up. You go.
I'll sleep through the.
Ed, did you like your stories? Ed, did you like your stories today?
Yeah, that was good stuff. I love the lightsaber one.
Yeah.